enhance the preservation technique of these historical sites. The recent election in Japan is going to affect the India's interest. Fingerprint data in case of any wait for this act to uphold these rights with that the bullet train projects with India, also the regional rivals of Japan. Welcome to Shankar's Daily News Analysis. Today's topic of discussion is, first we will discuss about the Chalo India Drive. This is an initiative the prelims purchasing a new vehicle. These are the topic of discussion for today's video. Before
analysis for the date of 5th of November 2024. So displayed here are the list of topics for discussion along with the mains practice question. So the first article discusses about two major verdicts would be given by today by the Supreme Court, where either the private property can be considered as a community resource and also Uttar Pradesh Madrasa law case. And this article is from Indian Express, and this Hello everyone, welcome to the daily newspaper analysis of the Shankar IAS Academy, brought to you by the Civil Media team. And this is Abhinaya Sampath for today's current affairs analysis for the date of 5th of November.
Hello everyone, welcome to the daily editorial analysis brought to you by Shankar IAS Academy. Today 29th October 2024. Displayed here are the articles that we are going to discuss. The first article, Solar, a game changer in women's empowerment. This editorial article is taken from the newspaper The Hindu. This article is talking about how the solar energy contributed to women empowerment, particularly in the rural India, and how the decentralized power generation will create opportunities and socio-economic development. And the second news article, Adopt multilateralism to reshape the financial system. This article is taken from the newspaper Live Mint. This article is talking about the importance of reducing dependence on US dollar-based global exchange and how we can promote the local currency through multilateral cooperation. So without much delay, let's begin our discussion. Look at this newspaper article taken from Indian Express, Solar, a game changer in women's empowerment. This newspaper article is talking about how the solar energy contributed to women empowerment and how the decentralization of power generation will lead to job opportunities and socio-economic changes. So let us discuss more about this from the mains point of view. Before that, we have a mains question here. The question is, discuss the role of solar energy in empowering marginalized communities and promoting gender equality in India. Highlight the challenges associated with the scalability and sustainability of solar power initiatives and suggest measures to overcome these challenges. So with this question, we will move to our discussion. First, we are going to see the importance of solar in societal change. The solar energy can change the society through decentralization, through increasing accessibility to the solar energy. So the decentralization of the solar energy will enable local power generation, which will eventually reduce the community's dependence on extensive power grid. And the decentralization will also support self-reliance, especially in the rural and remote area which lack consistent connection to electricity. And through installation of rooftop solar system, it will provide affordable and clean energy for every individual household in India, which eventually promote energy democracy, which is very essential in the time of increasing demand of energy, even in the rural area. The second importance of the solar energy is job creation and economic growth. The solar industry has been estimated as a significant creator of jobs in both India and global level, and as per the estimation, it created around 4.9 million jobs in India. And women plays a significant role in the workforce, especially in the rural area solar project, which will make them economically independent and will also increase their social status. And the solar, considering the rising demand of the energy, the solar industry also has a potential future. Because of the increasing demand for the energy, there will be a potential job creation in the upcoming time. And the another role of the decentralization of the solar energy will be the empowerment of marginalized communities through providing affordable energy, which eventually improves their health, safety, and it will also provide stable income, especially to the farming communities in India. For example, switching to the solar pumps will reduce the dependence of salt farmers in diesel generators, which will eventually boost their income. And also we can see certain initiatives like Barefoot College will train rural women as solar engineers, and which will provide them opportunities in the remote and rural areas of India. Just like we said, it will eventually make them economically independent and boost their social status. Increasing the solar source of energy will also make significant benefit in the environment and also will ensure sustainability, and that through reduced carbon emission, which will support the climate goals, and it will reduce the air pollution, and that will ultimately lead to reduced risk of health concerns. And even in the case of rural India, the decentralization of solar energy, for example, replacing the traditional source of energy with the off-grid solar will reduce the dependence of rural communities in polluting energy sources like kerosene lamps. This will have significant positive impact in their lifestyle as well as in their health. Now we discussed what are the benefits of solar energy and how it is contributing to the societal change, but it has its own sets of challenges. For example, high initial cost. Installation of the solar panels are highly costly. At the same time, maintaining them are also very costly. Therefore, the first challenge is initial high cost, and the second challenge is intermittent supply. For example, the solar energy is depending on weather time. Solar energy is depending on weather and the time of the day, which will make them less reliable than the fossil fuel. And the next major challenge is space requirements. For example, to create intensive solar energy, we need that much extensive land. Therefore, installation of an extensive solar grid will lead to land use conflicts. So this is the next major challenge. And therefore, to overcome this challenge, we need proper planning. How we are going to implement the solar grid and on what amount of energy is required for that particular region. So without proper planning, we cannot overcome this challenge. And the next challenge is technological limitation, which limits the storage of solar equipments like battery. And in certain times, there will be a less supply of solar batteries, which will hurdle the production of solar energy. And the final or the major challenge is policy and regulatory hurdles. That includes lack of supportive policies, which will eventually lead to slow adoption of solar energy in major parts of India. We saw the challenges in implementing the solar power. So let us discuss what can be done or what are the steps can be taken to overcome these challenges. First step can be providing incentives and subsidies. Through incentives and subsidies, we can reduce the cost of installation of the solar panels. And the second one is investment in the research and development. It will improve the solar efficiency, and in over a period of time, it has high possibility to reduce the cost of solar installation. And the third step can be infrastructure development. For example, buildings, smart grids for enhanced solar integration. And this can increase the efficiency of the present solar power generation. And the next step, it is a significant step, that is public awareness campaign, which will be very useful in overcoming the hesitation of the people to adopt the solar based technologies. And finally, we have the private sector collaboration. Through the private sector collaboration, we can increase the efficiency, we can promote innovation, and also we can increase the accessibility to the solar power. So in this topic, we discussed what is the importance of solar energy in societal change and what are the challenges in it and how we can overcome that. So with this, we are moving to the next topic. Look at this newspaper article taken from Lime and Adobe shift to multilateralism to reshape the financial system. This article is talking about the importance of reducing dependence on US dollar for international exchange through multilateral financial cooperation. So, hello everyone, welcome to the daily news. The state government can utilize fund from the state disaster response fund to give immediate relief to cases associated with the extreme temperatures. And the second article, what has been done to curb pollution, National Green Tribunal notice to police. So in New Delhi, we know that it is winter time and the national capital is going through severe air pollution. So in this background, the National Green Tribunal has issued notice to the Traffic Commissioner and the Delhi Police Commissioner seeking their response regarding the measures taken by the police to curb vehicular emission. So this newspaper article is taken from the newspaper Indian Express, and the third article, Pakistan districts where polio virus was detected. This newspaper article is talking about the third nationwide polio campaign in Pakistan, which is aiming to vaccinate 45 million children. And this initiative was taken followed by the declaration of 41 new cases in Pakistan. So this article is taken from the newspaper The Hindu. So without much delay, let's begin our discussion. Look at this newspaper article taken from the Hindu. Tamil Nadu declares heat waves a state-specific disaster. So this will allow the state government to utilize fund from state disaster response fund to support relief measures in cases associated with the extreme temperature. So let us discuss more about heat waves in this background. First, we will begin with the question: what is a heat wave? Heat wave is often described as prolonged period of abnormal high temperature with high humidity. So this will be usually recorded in Indian subcontinent during the time of summer season, especially in the Indo-Gangetic plains and the northwestern part of India. And if it is exceeding after a particular threshold, then it can even become fatal, and especially to the children and to the old age people. And the people suffering from cardiovascular issues and pulmonary issues are highly vulnerable to heat wave fatality. Now we are going to see the criteria to declare heat wave. According to Indian Meteorological Department, there are three different criteria. First one is temperature threshold, second one is deviation from normal temperature, and third one is absolute temperature benchmark. The first one is temperature threshold. In the case of plains, if the temperature is exceeding 40 degrees Celsius, then that time will be declared as heat wave. And in the case of coastal areas, if the temperature is exceeding 37 degrees Celsius, then heat wave can be declared. And in the case of hilly region, if the temperature is exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, then that will be declared as heat wave. And irrespective of the regions, if the daily maximum temperature is exceeding the average normal by 4.5 degrees Celsius to 6.4 degrees Celsius, then it will be qualified as heat wave. And if the temperature is rising above 6.4 degrees Celsius, then it will be classified as severe heat wave. And coming to the absolute temperature benchmark, if the temperature is exceeding 45 degrees Celsius, irrespective of the time, irrespective of the region, then it will be qualified as heat wave. Now we are going to see the impact of heat waves. The heat wave has health impact, environmental impact, and also economic impact. The health impact includes health-related illness, high mortality rate, and mental health, and psychological issues associated with the heat wave. So what are the health issues related to heat waves? We know that heat wave will record high temperature. Therefore, there is a possibility that our blood will become thicker. Therefore, it will, over a period of time, it will affect our cardiovascular health, even in the cases of healthy people. And people suffering from pulmonary issues and cardiovascular issues are more vulnerable to fatality of heat wave. And due to this condition, the heat waves has a high potential to increase the mortality in region with the severe heat wave. And the prolonged temperature in a particular region will lead to mood swings, anxiety, and depression among people, especially people working in the outdoor. Coming to the environmental impact, the prolonged temperature can lead to water scarcity, wildfire, and it can even lead to decline of flora and fauna. Therefore, it will affect the biodiversity of that region. Coming to the economic impact, the heat waves can affect the agriculture productivity due to wildfire, drought, and all. Therefore, the farming sector is one of the sectors which are highly vulnerable to heat waves. And the heat waves can also reduce the labor productivity, especially the people working outside will experience the severe impact of the heat wave, therefore their productivity will fall. And people working indoor will also experience psychological problems associated with the heat waves, therefore it will also affect their productivity. And prolonged heat waves can also lead to increased demand of energy due to increased use of air conditioner and all. Therefore it will eventually affect the power supply, and even in cities the people will experience blackouts. So in this topic we discussed what is heat wave and what will be the impact of heat waves and what are the criteria to declare heat waves. So in this idea, try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, consider the following statements regarding heat waves and disaster management in India. The statement 1, the Indian Meteorological Department defines heat waves in the plains as when a temperature reach 40 degrees Celsius or higher. The states in India have the authority to declare heat waves as state-specific disasters to utilize the State Disaster Response Fund for relief effort. Statement 3, Tamil Nadu has recently declared heat waves as a state-specific disaster and announced ex gratia payments for heat-related death. Which of the following statements given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 and 2 only, option B, 2 and 3 only, option C, 1 and 3 only, and option D, 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option D, 1, 2 and 3. All the 3 statements are correct. So with this, we will move to the next topic. Because this newspaper article taken from Hindu Pakistan districts where polio virus was detected. So this newspaper article is talking about 3 types of polio virus, that is wild available for polio. Coming and water, and it will stay in intestine for some time. Highly contagious viral disease. This initiative was taken followed by the newly reported 41 polio cases this year. So we know that polio was one of the successfully eradicated diseases in the world, but still it is active, especially the type 1 is active in Afghanistan and certain parts of Pakistan. So let us discuss more about polio in this background. First we are going to see what is polio. Polio, or the full name is poliomyelitis, is a highly contagious viral disease that mainly affects the young children, that is children below the age of 5 according to WHO. And the infection can lead to permanent paralysis and sometimes even death. And what is the cause? The cause for this virus, the cause for the infection is poliovirus, which enters into the human body through oral fecal route, and that is through mainly contaminated food and water, and it will stay in intestine for some time, and after that it will attack the nervous system of human being, especially the spinal cord. There are 3 types of poliovirus, that is wild poliovirus type 1, type 2, type 3. Type 2 was eradicated in the year 1999 and type 3 was eradicated in the year 2019, which was recently, and type 1 it is almost eradicated, but it is still active in Afghanistan and certain parts of Pakistan. Now we are going to see the symptoms of polio. The symptoms can be classified into initial symptoms and severe symptoms. The initial symptoms include fever, sore throat, headache, fatigue, nausea and stomach pain. And severe symptoms includes muscle stiffness, intense pain and paralysis in some cases. And there is also another symptom, that is long-term symptom, which is developed in the post-polio, and that includes muscle weakness and joint pain. Coming to the transmission of polio virus, it primarily transmits through fecal oral route, mainly through the contaminated water and food, but it can also transmit direct contact with the infected person or through respiratory droplet. What are the treatment available for polio? Coming to the treatment, we have to understand that polio is an incurable disease, but it is preventable. Therefore, currently there is no cure for polio. Therefore, we are focusing on managing symptoms and reducing the complications associated with the infection. And such as treatment includes physical therapy, which may support the limb and it will help in a partial recovery from paralysis. But we have vaccines to prevent the polio virus. That includes oral polio vaccine. Oral polio vaccine, which is very easy to administer and it is widely used in region with the severe outbreaks. And second type of vaccine is inactivated polio vaccine, which is administered through infection, which is used in polio-free regions to maintain the immunity among individuals. Coming to the preventive measures taken in the global level. So the preventive measures in the global level includes mass immunization, which is very essential for eradicating polio. One of the such initiatives includes Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which was launched in the year 1988 under the WHO and the UNICEF. And since 1988, we can see a significant fall in the polio cases, that is nearly 98 to 99%. And we know that still the 1% is persisting. Therefore, continued vaccination campaigns are still going on in endemic regions such as Pakistan and Afghanistan to eliminate the polio virus completely. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion for this topic. And in this topic, we discussed what is polio, its mode of transmission, treatments, and preventive measures. And with this idea, let us try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, consider the following statements regarding polio. Statement 1, polio is primarily transmitted through fecal oral route. Statement 2, there is currently no cure for polio. Treatment focuses on symptom management. Statement 3, polio is classified as a zoonotic disease. Which of the following statements given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 1 and 2 only. Option C, 2 and 3 only. And option D, 1, 2 and 3. Let's see what is the correct answer. The correct answer is yes, option B is the correct answer. The statement 3 therefore goes wrong. Polio is not classified as a zoonotic disease. This statement is wrong. The answer is statement 1 and 2. So with this, we are moving to the next topic. Look at this newspaper article taken from Indian Express. What has been done to curb a zoonotic disease? This statement is wrong. The answer is statement 1 and 2. So with this, we are moving to the next topic. Look at this newspaper article taken from Indian Express. What has been done to curb vehicle pollution? National Green Tribunal notice to police. In Delhi, the National Green Tribunal has issued notices to Delhi Police Commissioner and Traffic Commissioner seeking their initiative to curb vehicle pollution. And we know that Delhi, the national capital, is going through severe pollution, and this is winter time too. So let us discuss more about the importance of National Green Tribunal in this background. So what is National Green Tribunal? We know that it is a specialized judicial body exclusively to deal with environmental justice. It was established on 18th October 2010 under the National Green Tribunal Act. The objective, like I said, the environmental justice. It resolves the cases related to environment quickly and also promotes sustainable development. Coming to the jurisdiction of the National Green Tribunal, it has both original jurisdiction as well as appellate jurisdiction. That is, you can approach the National Green Tribunal directly as well as through appeal. Therefore, it handles environmental cases and cases related to the violation of environmental laws. So this is the original jurisdiction, and it also reviews decision from the environmental regulatory bodies, and this is the appellate jurisdiction. And coming to the composition, it will have a chairman and a 10 expert member panel. Though this chairman will be a retired judge from Supreme Court or High Court, and the 10 expert members will have experts with the knowledge in various fields in environment and ecology. Coming to the powers of the National Green Tribunal, it has the power to grant relief and compensation for environmental harm. For example, imagine that you have a neighborhood and there's a river and someone polluted the river. Just imagine that a chemical company polluted the river. Therefore, your neighborhood can approach the National Green Tribunal directly and you will get the justice. And it can issue orders to enforce environmental laws, and it will also conduct inquiries into environmental matters. Coming to the significance of the National Green Tribunal, it will speed up the resolution of disputes, and therefore it will reduce the time as well as it will reduce the burden on court. And the National Green Tribunal plays a crucial role in addressing support of public interest litigation in cases related to environment. And it also plays a crucial role in enhancing environmental governance in India. So in this topic, we discussed what is Green Tribunal and what is the jurisdiction of the National Green Tribunal, its powers, its significance, and its formation. With this idea, try to answer this prelims practice question. The question is, which of the following is a power of National Green Tribunal? Option A, only recommend policies to the government. Option B, grant compensation for environmental degradation. Option C, initiate legislative actions for environmental protection. And option D, overrule the Supreme Court decisions. The correct answer is yes, the correct answer is option B, granting compensation for environmental degradation. So this will ensure justice to the victims affected due to environmental degradation. So with this, we are coming to the conclusion for today's newspaper analysis. If you like the video, hit the like button and give your feedbacks as comments and share this content with your friends. And before leaving this channel, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to receive on-time updates.
Newspaper as well. So let's look into the list of articles for today's discussion. In the first article, we'll be seeing about India's mission to Venus, and in the second article, we'll be seeing about Delhi's air quality deterioration, and in the third article, we'll be seeing about patriarchy in Indian society. We'll be seeing all this from the mains perspective. I have a mains question for you. What are all the causes behind the worsening air quality in Delhi? Suggest some sustainable practices that can be implemented to manage this problem. So this question has only two parts. First, you have to write all the causes, and in the second part, you have to write all the sustainable practices that can save this air pollution from the Delhi part. So we'll start with the causes. The first cause is stubble burning. See, this contribute to nearly 45% of Delhi's pollution. So for example, in October 26, 2023, nearly 14.5% of PM 2.5 has increased. See, the issue here is it can get into bloodstream. So when that happens, the health impacts will be very high. So it is not only polluting the air quality but also causing health impacts. Second is the vehicular emission. Nearly 40% of Delhi's pollution is coming from vehicles. So here you can say that nearly 45% is from the stubble burning and nearly 40% is from vehicular emission. You can even draw a Venn diagram like this and you can show it. So this vehicular emission actually releases particulate matter, NOx, SO2 and even volatile organic compounds, leading to deteriorated air quality. Apart from this, there are also industrial pollution caused by various factories, power plants and construction that is happening around the region. And burning the fossil fuels also release toxic pollutants like sulfur oxide and nitrous oxide. Actually, the region around NCR, we can see a lot of demolition of buildings and the construction of new buildings. So this construction dust has also led to the deterioration of the air quality in Delhi. It has released PM10 and PM 2.5, leading to respiratory issues. Apart from this, weather pattern and geographical factors, see, Delhi is a landlocked region. This means that they lack natural ventilation from all the sides and there is no moderation as well. And mainly during winter, what happens is the cool air that will be remaining in the ground level and the upper sky, it will be warmer than the ground level. So when the emission happens, it gets trapped in the ground level itself, leading to formation of fog and smog. So these are all certain causes of air quality deterioration in Delhi. Now we shall see some of the major initiatives to manage air pollution in Delhi. See, the first important plan is this Graded Response Action Plan, in short called as GRAP. So under this plan, restriction on construction, diesel generator and strict emission norms will be followed. Secondly, odd even vehicle scheme. So under this scheme, within the time limit, on the first day odd number vehicles can be operated, or on the second day even vehicles can be operated. So this will reduce the number of vehicles that are being operated in the region, leading to reduced emission and reduced smog and improved air quality. Third is increase in green cover. It is the very cost effective way. Affordable drives and the Green Delhi app for citizen engagement has been brought in, and many trees has been planted to improve the air quality in the region. Apart from this, electronic vehicles have been promoted very well, and their adoption and charging infrastructure has been initiated in many places. There are also industrial emission standards as well as public awareness campaign that is happening in the region in order to reduce the emission level in the region. So far we saw what are all the causes of air pollution or the deteriorating air quality in Delhi. Then we saw some of the major initiatives of government to manage the air pollution. So with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. The title itself says New Rocket Plus Moon. Hello aspirants, I welcome you all to daily newspaper analysis of Shankar IAS Academy. Today's date is 28th of October 2024. We have taken articles from yesterday's newspaper as well. So let's look into the list of articles for today's discussion. In this first article, we'll be seeing about OSR land from the prelims perspective. And in the second article, we'll be seeing about stubble burning. And in the third article, we'll be seeing about UNESCO tag. We'll be seeing all these articles in the prelims perspective. So without any delay, let us get into the news article discussion. Take a look at this news article. This news article talks about dinosaur fossil park and museum in the village Rayoni in Gujarat's Balasinor Taluk. So the news is that our Geological Survey of India has visited this particular site, but due to low maintenance, the site has been deteriorated. The article states that if this place is well maintained, then it can even get UNESCO's Geo Heritage tag. So let us revise about what is this Geo Heritage tag from the prelims perspective. So let's start with what is this Geo Heritage tag. See, it is a designation award to area of significant geological, environmental and cultural importance. And it is part of UNESCO's Global Geopark Network under the International Geoscience and Geopark Program, in short called as IGGP. So the site that has been selected under this program will be receiving the designation and will be known as the UNESCO Global Geopark. So it is nothing but a site that is recognized for its geological and cultural importance. Okay. Now let us quickly go through the process involved in this process. See, the first process is identification and nomination. This is done by the local authority or the geological body in that particular country. So in our country, Geological Survey of India, GSI, takes care of this particular thing. So they prepare a detailed report of the site, which includes the details of geological features of the site, then the cultural and historical significance and the conservation strategies. So this report, it will be sent to evaluation to the UNESCO experts. These experts, they will analyze the report and they will be visiting the site for verification. So after verification, they will be providing approval or providing the status for initially for 4 years. Even after this 4 years, there will be a verification process so that this status will be extended beyond. A very good example for this Geo Heritage site that has been given recently is this Zhanghe National Geopark. It is in China. It has been recognized for its geological significance. You can see the colorful image given here. So this is about the process involved in providing UNESCO Geo Heritage tag. Now let us see what are all the advantages and disadvantages of providing this UNESCO Geo Heritage tag. See, the first thing is it will increase tourism, and secondly it will provide a global recognition, and thirdly it will provide conservation support from the state as well as from the national level as well as from the global level, and finally a lot of education and research opportunities will be provided to education. So this will lead to further development of the particular site, leading to new discoveries and innovations. So these are all the advantages of providing UNESCO Geo Heritage tag to a particular site. Now talking about the disadvantages, firstly it will lead to increased footfall, which means it can even deteriorate the significant cultural aspect of that particular site. Secondly, the maintenance cost will be very high, meaning we have to provide fund frequently to maintain this particular site. Thirdly, it may lead to local displacement due to the incoming of many tourists. This can even lead to development of many other recreational activities, leading to displacement of these local people. And finally, it can lead to economical dependency on tourists, which can even affect the local economy in the larger picture. So these are all certain disadvantages of providing UNESCO Geo Heritage tag to a particular site. So far we saw about what is this UNESCO Geo Heritage tag, how it is provided. We saw what are all the advantages and disadvantages involved in providing the status to that particular site. Now with this information, let us try to solve a prelims practice question. Here the correct answer for the particular question is option B, first lunar lake, it is volcanoid crater lake, and option B, Bhimbetka, it is a prehistoric rock art, and St. Mary's Island, it is a columnar ballast formation, and the Akal Fossil Wood Park, it is a fossilized wood and tree trunks. So the correct answer here is option B. So with this information, let us move on to the next news article discussion. Now look at this news article. This news article talks about OSR land. Here the OSR is nothing but open space reservation land. Currently, Chennai urban local body has decided to increase the number of this OSR land in order to save the rainwater and curb flooding. So this is what the news article is about. So in this news article discussion, let us revise about OSR land from the prelims perspective. Firstly, what is this OSR land? See, this open reservation land or open space land is nothing but a designated area in urban planning, primarily for green areas. So the green area might include playgrounds, parks and even recreational areas. There are certain criteria for this OSR development. Let us see that one by one. See, the first thing is the area that is being developed as OSR land should be at least 10% of the total area. So if a particular settlement is taken, this OSR land should be at least 10% of that land. Then only we can develop this particular land area, and it should be accessible to residents and it should be located centrally. So it cannot be in any corner of a particular settlement. If it is in the middle, it will be accessible to all the local people to this particular area. So the location specification is very important. Thirdly, the region should be able to adopt all the trees, grass cover to maintain the biodiversity. So by bringing in the biodiversity, we can even maintain the pollinators and naturally bringing in the air purification, reducing the pollution and many aspects of green development. And there should be no building zone, meaning there should be no any permanent construction allowed in this OSR land, and it should be compliant with the local regulation. Especially the developers must follow the specific guidelines to develop this particular OSR land. So these are all the very important criteria that you have to remember when it comes to OSR land. Now let us see about the advantages of this particular OSR land development. See, firstly, it improves the quality of life. So when there is a crowded settlement and when there is a particular recreational region provided in this particular settlement, it will lead to improved air quality, improved quality of life itself. Secondly, it leads to a lot of environmental benefits like purifying the air, mitigate pollution and support the ecological balance. Apart from this, it can also store a lot of rainwater, leading to recharge of the groundwater and reducing the flood impacts in the urban area. Apart from this, it also reduces the urban heat by adding a lot of greenery and reducing the temperature, and it promotes biodiversity and adds a aesthetic value to the urban region. So these are all certain advantages with OSR land. However, there are certain disadvantages. For example, firstly, there is land use restriction. As I said earlier, the area will not be available for commercial or residential development. It will be dedicated exclusively for the recreational purpose. Secondly, the maintenance cost is very high. We have to even impose a new tax to maintain this particular area, or we have to bring in entry fee to maintain the area. So there are certain restrictions like that, and there is a risk of encroachment as well. This land can be prone to illegal encroachment or unauthorized use, which needs regulation time to time. Apart from this, there is also a potential for neglect. People might not visit the region, leading to unsuccessful development as well. So these are all certain disadvantages of this OSR land. So far we saw what is this OSR, then we saw about the criteria for which the OSR can be brought in, then we saw some of the advantages and disadvantages of this. Now with this understanding, let us try to solve a prelims question. Now look at this question. With reference to OSR land in urban planning, consider the following statement. OSR land is primarily designed for residential building and commercial complexes. Second statement says a certain percentage of land in large-scale urban development project must be allocated as OSR for public use. Third statement says OSR land development can include essential amenities like benches or playground equipments. So what is the correct answer here? Here the correct answer is option B, 1 and 3 only, because obviously statement 1 is incorrect, and if you can eliminate only one option, you can directly arrive at the answer, which is option B, 2 and 3 only. So with these learned points, now let us move on to the next news article discussion. Take a look at this news article. This news article talks about stubble burning. The news is that the incidence of stubble burning has been declined in Punjab and Haryana. In Punjab, it has declined to 35%, and in Haryana, it has declined to 21% when compared to the 2023 figures. So this is what the news is about. Now, in the prelims perspective, let us revise about stubble burning. So what is this stubble burning in the first place? See, stubble burning is nothing but an agricultural practice of setting fire to the leftover crop residue or stubble. So whenever a crop is planted and harvested, the remaining leftover in the field is known as the stubble. So this stubble is burnt for a lot of reasons. Firstly, to prepare the land for the next cultivation, for the next crop rotation. For this purpose, this stubble is actually burnt. Secondly, it is seen as a cost-effective method. Thirdly, there is no alternative in the market to turn this resource into a useful product. So these are the reasons why farmers, they burn the stubble in their field, and this is very common in states with higher cultivation of rice and wheat, especially Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Now, even though this is a cost-effective method, there are a lot of impacts that is unseen or unnoticed. Let us see them one by one. Firstly, the increase in air pollution. See, this stubble burning absolutely will release a lot of particulate matter. So this indirectly increases greenhouse gases in the atmosphere and leading to increase in temperature in the area and the surrounding. So secondly, it causes a lot of health care issues, particularly the pulmonary and cardiovascular problems. So thirdly, we have the soil degradation. See, when these residues are burnt in the field, they actually leads to root nutrient and the microorganisms. So this ultimately lead to soil degradation and can impact the next crop circulation. Apart from this, it has a lot of economic cost due to the increase in healthcare expenses and reduced yield, and it can also contribute to the climate change, leading to temperature fluctuations, change in weather patterns and agriculture. So these are all certain impacts of stubble burning. However, there are certain alternatives to stubble burning that are not aware of. The first thing is the happy seeder. This is a machine that actually plant seeds without removing the crop residue. You can see the image of happy seeder. So this is actually seen as a very good alternative instead of burning the stubbles. Now this stubble will also be acting as a nutrient provider. Secondly, the rotavator. Here you can see how the rotavator actually looks like. So this will mix the stubble back into the soil, leading to enhanced soil fertility. So the next crop rotation will also get the essential nutrients that it has to get from this stubble. Thirdly, we have to say about the biodecomposers. These are capsules. You can see here the capsules. So they actually decompose, they actually accelerate the decomposition. So a very good example for this biodecomposer is Pusa. Here you can see that. Fourthly, boiling and biomass collection. Here you can see how boiling is done. This boiling can be used as a fodder and it can be used as a raw material to generate biofuels as well. Apart from this, there are certain other techniques like using mulching. Here the crop residue will be added as a protective layer over the soil in order to grow the next crop. And there are also certain initiatives to generate awareness about this particular alternatives that is present in the market. There are even educational programs to promote sustainable practices when it comes to stubble burning. So these are all the alternatives to stubble burning, and this is the reason why there has been reduced in the incidence of stubble burning in the states that we saw earlier in the news. So far we saw what is this stubble burning, then we saw what are all the impacts of it, and what are all the alternatives that is present in the market for this stubble burning. So with this, we came to the end of the news article discussion. If you like the video,